I usually like to do this every time that we have meetups or we organize conferences. I like to give a quick overview of how communities can help in the long run with different areas or domains. In this case, I'm going to talk about NewSpace. For those that don't know me, maybe you already know that I like trance music and electronic music. I'm a software engineer for more than 10 years. It's getting a bit, boring to do only software. That's why I moved also to hardware, as you can see. I'm also the community manager at iOS and one of the co-founders. For the last 3 years, I've been heavily involved in the aerospace domain. And I'd like to develop it in the global open source communities as well. I'm the national point of contact for Bulgaria, so I'm in charge of coordinating all the efforts in Bulgaria, also organizing such events to reach out young professionals and students. And I like communities and open source. That's not the done. Before we continue with what is NewSpace and how communities can help with it, of course, I want to mention something about the future and predicting it. This is a quote from somebody, and according to him, man will not fly for 50 years. Can somebody guess who that is? Wilbert writes to his brother, Orville, 2 years before they actually took the first flight. So if they cannot predict, how much time it will take, then of course, future is always uncertain, correct? And this quote actually was inspired and taken from this presentation by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I encourage you to watch it. It's very, very funny, but also showcase why we do stuff that we do. And he gives quite a few more examples of predictions for the future that were plain wrong. Or for the wrong reasons. People just thought that that's how the world will work in X years. It's 1 hour and 20 minutes, but it's something that I think you'll enjoy it. What is NewSpace then? Well, it's not a technical term, right? This quote is taken from the blog post below. And it's basically old space, but for privatization of the space industry. It's just a word that we use to describe the current state of the space industry and how things started progressing, or people started focusing more on the space industry again. You might be asking rust. Why rust? Well, first, rust is oxidation, right? So metals oxidate. But here we are talking about the language rust. And for me at least, it has been always a few things, and I want to share them with you. But before that, you don't need to take my word for it. There are plenty of organizations already using Rust, supporting Rust. It definitely has drawbacks, and it might not be the tool for every case. However, it has shown to greatly decrease bugs and also improve productivity in the long run. And it's perfect for space applications if the tooling, of course, allows it. Both Microsoft have talked a lot about and are using already Rust. They have already included in the inside version part of the kernel that is written in Rust. They have supported the Rust Foundation for quite some time now, and they even wrote a blog post about how they improve their security and vulnerabilities because of stuff that come with Rust. BlackBerry and Volvo, they're both using Rust for automotive, or for the automotive sector, and they're heavily involving, including Rust for newer projects. But I also heard of the other automotive sector organizations. Google is also supporting the Rust Foundation and has many efforts to improve internet security. And yeah, in general, maybe you have heard or not, but Android also supports Rust now. And of course, there are many other organizations. I've taken a screenshot of the Rust Foundation members. As you can see, there are only a few here listed, but Adacore is also one of them. Ada is usually used as a programming language used for the automotive sector. And yeah, in general, there is a bright future for this new language. But above all, for me at least, it's the community. Apart from the many communities that I have listed here or not have listed here, the Rust communities in particular are very inclusive, diversified, and they try to always be that way. Bad language, or at least, how can I say it, poisonous people are kept away. And that's one of the things that I really like in the community, because everybody is really supportive and helping out when you need something. The person from the Netherlands that suggested to reach out to the Rust Foundation is also doing quite some efforts, or his organization is also doing quite some efforts in the open source world of Rust. As you can see, the Rust programming language of Discord, the Discord server, has more than 50,000 people. Of course, they're not all active. However, that really shows just one of the platforms, how many people are interested in this language and participate daily. Baby Engine is also growing very fast. It's already past 15,000 people in Discord. It's a game engine, fairly new, of course. However, people are discussing how to use it in scientific work and also simulations for various things. There is also the Rust machine learning community. You can check out the organization, the GitHub organization. There is also the Rust computer vision one, the embedded community, and also the Rust embedded team, who are doing quite a lot of work in also this space that we are doing our workshop on, the hardware part, to support as many platforms and to allow people to easier developments on embedded systems. Other open source communities that I really like are the Drone Code Foundation. They are the developers, or this is the foundation behind the Mavlink protocol. For those of you who have worked with drones and have written software for them, you will know that Mavlink is quite popular there. It's one of the open source messaging protocols. But of course, there are many other communities, including in the space sector, including in open source, including in the maker space. These are a few of the YouTube channels that I watch personally and I like. I haven't listed all, but most of them not only develop cool things, robotics, space, drones, and some crazy stuff, of course, but most of them also open source their work. They make it available for anyone to build their project, but they made a video on it, basically. And of course, there are many other makers and creators out there. But what are the challenges? We're talking about good things. Communities, organizations that support communities, makers. Well, the first thing is funding. It's definitely one of the things that we have seen many times in the past, even years. Problems with, vulnerabilities or underfunded projects that have been left out. Of course, most of the server space is made up of Linux, and it's an open source kernel, but it's well funded, although I think it could be more, because many organizations are actually depending on the Linux kernel and are basing their multi-million and billion of dollars companies on those open source projects. The second thing is, of course, communities are hard. It's very challenging to engage with people, to bring them in one space, even if it's a virtual one, to make them activate or participate actively in the community. And I could continue listing stuff, but this I think is the main two things, because of course, if there's more funding, if bigger organizations actually support open source, maybe we won't have so many vulnerabilities. Maybe innovation will happen faster. So, welcome to the iOS community. Everybody is welcome. If you go to the website, we have a Discord server invite. Everybody is welcome. It's a variety of people, professions, hobbyists that are out there. And the main goal of this community is to collect materials, develop projects like the nano satellite, open source, of course, and to support the aerospace ecosystem of the Rust language. Rust was started in, I think, the 2nd of January 2020, just before the COVID pandemic hit. It was a really, really funny moment to do that. But in general, people were quite active in the beginning. There's a lot of interest, and we are already past 550 members. Only this year we started doing regular meetups, Discord, just casual ones at the beginning. We had a few other meetups, including with Rust London, that we did virtually or hybrid actually. So we were presenting remotely, but people were gathered in the Rust London venue. In the community itself, there is a lot of professionals, students, hobbyists, building all kinds of projects, including student rocketry, student nanosatellites. There are professionals that are in the aviation business and want to include somehow Rust and make their organization also use the Rust programming language. And as of today, we're doing conferences and workshops, as you can see. So that's our first. These are the, I guess, the most active projects or the main project that we are working on right now. Mav SDK is just a higher level API for the Mavlink protocol. It's just easier to get people involved and start with drones. One of the crates that we're going to use tomorrow, the NMEA crate, and it's more specifically for this variant 01A3. It's a messaging protocol used in primarily even your phone, but primarily for boats, sonars, and so on. So it's very popular with them. And of course, we started developing the nano satellite workshop, which will be made available in open source sometime in the near future, probably in the next days or weeks. We want to allow for everybody to perform this workshop, to build upon that, and start exploring the Rust embedded world. Yeah, so space conference, right? Plovdiv. That's the first one. And I'm very happy that everybody here that is interested has joined, because this is how communities start, and this is how people find other like-minded people. Of course, not everything was perfect. It's the first time that we're organizing it. There was a lot of hassle to establish a relationship with organizations for the first time. So communication was slower than expected, but in general, we established a lot of relationships. Probably you're going to see them next year. And of course, a lot of good and positive feedback from everybody that we've talked with, and they're very excited about what we're doing. In terms of what can be improved, I believe that the talk's length might be a bit, might give a little bit of anxiety to most people, because I see this trend for lowering the time of talks on other conferences. So maybe next time we're going to do probably more talks for 30 or 20 minutes each. Another challenge that we hit on was the speakers. Initially, we wanted to bring everybody here on site. And we wanted to find people here in Bulgaria with experience, even remotely connected to the space industry, and to showcase that in Bulgaria, things are happening, and bring them here together so that people can be more informed about that. The organization itself, pretty much the last 1 month was the most intense one. Before that, not much has happened, but keep in mind that we started preparing the workshop and the conference in December. So that's 6 months in preparation. And if somebody came earlier today, before the opening, before the coffee, we have technical issues. That's a given, right? On every event. But hopefully, we're going to put out the recordings and everything will be fine, so that other people that couldn't join today, as well as the Rust community, people that are not from Bulgaria, can also be informed about all the talks here. About the nanosatellite workshop. First, we wanted to showcase that it is possible to build very sleek and interesting projects using Rust that are not that challenging. Well, apart from the growing ecosystem and the development of the ecosystem, because most of the projects, even the main framework, if I can say it that way, that we are going to use tomorrow, which is Embassy, it's in active development, so not everything works out of the box every time, or not with every hardware. But we had a great experience so far, and we're very, very, very excited about the Rust ecosystem growth. It's meant to be more, the workshop is meant to be more of an educational platform. We hope to extend it, make it more challenging. So tomorrow it will be little exercises based on what we saw on the forums. We want to give this platform for anyone that wants to create something remotely related to space, or even to base their own project on that platform. For example, one of the community members is from South Africa, or at least he's living in South Africa right now, but he's from Kenya. And he was really interested because he wanted to improve his life there, to remove the mosquitoes, or to mitigate the issue with the mosquitoes. And of course, as you can see, we have some solar panels, which are what you want on disconnected, let's say, or not connected to the grid device, which is a smart device. We're not sure yet if it's going to be a good organization training if it's going to be good for organization trainings, but we're hoping to try it out with some organizations, including one in the Netherlands. One of the organizations that I reached out to, 3D Golf. They're talking with one research center in the Netherlands, and they're interested in this workshop. The 3D Golf is also developing the Rust 101 course, the students course, so that to create this educational course for Rust. And we want to be a part of that because, of course, it's open source. And we want to build upon that. Why educational platform? Well, I've given an example here of an Australian company. Again, very young, and they're a startup, but they have already developed this educational platform for their own industry and their own universities and schools. And you can see it on the right. It's more sophisticated than ours, of course. But ours is more meant to get your hands dirty and plug things, unplug things, and just try it out, rather than launch it into space. You can check them out. There are other companies like that are developing other instruments and other tooling, nanosatellites, startups, and so on, which is very interesting to see, and I hope this trend continues in the future. I did a poll in Twitter. Well, we only had 10 votes, but it's still showcasing that 40 euros for the kit, of course, without the 3D printed frame of the nanosatellite, but for all the batteries, a board, and everything hardware related, is for around 40 euros per kit. So it's very affordable and accessible. And that showcased that we set these goals to be affordable and accessible, and people really do think that it is affordable and accessible. It would have been even cheaper, but given that Espressif kindly provided those Rust-specific boards that we're going to use tomorrow, and they're quite more expensive than the Olimex one. So yeah, we set out those goals, and I really think that we achieved them. I think the total cost of the set would be around 50 euros. And of course, we are going to add more things, and the workshop itself is not touching upon all of the possibilities of those boards. But we wanted to make it more engageable for the participants, and we're happy that we got to that state. From the forum itself of the 20 participants that are going to be tomorrow at the conference, we had a few questions to figure out how the workshop should look like. And as we can see, most of them don't have experience with Rust, or none at all. But that's why we kindly asked for everybody to read the official Rust book to chapter 11. Which also is open source, we don't have to pay for it. There are many resources nowadays for learning Rust, which is great, because I remember a few years ago just waiting for any blog post to be posted for Rust in order for me to read it. And now I cannot just keep up with all the things happening in the Rust ecosystem. Another question that we had, what experience do people have with different programming languages? And as you can see, there's quite a few people that have experience with C and C++, which is also one of the targeted groups, because C and C++ are very compatible to Rust. But also, as you can see, there are also JavaScript people, Python, and so on. And it would be very interesting to see how the workshop exercises play out tomorrow. So I'm very, very curious to see how well people will cope with the challenges. Of course, we had to ask the experience for programming embedded systems. As you can see, most of them are either on the middle or far into the left or the right. So again, would be interesting to see how everybody will deal tomorrow with the workshop exercises. And the last announcement for this conference is that we're doing proceedings. So if you want to write scientific paper and publish it, you can sign up in this URL here. I think there's still time. I have to double check the deadline, but if you're interested in publishing a paper, don't hesitate. The deadline for the whole paper is actually in August. We have time to write the whole paper. And this is also supported by the Institute of Space and Technology in Bath. What else? Did I miss anything? Rather than, probably we're going to do it next year as well. So why am I telling you all this? Right? Why am I here talking to you? Well, I'm going to illustrate it. You always start with a problem that you have or somebody has, correct? And then you figure out a solution. And most of the times, you make a startup out of it. So you find a problem, a specific problem, you find a way to solve it, and then you make money, more or less. Well, if you think about it, communities are exactly that. But what distinguishes communities from just making money? Well, the intent. I'm going to go back one slide, but the intent of how you proceed with this solution. Because most of the people in the communities, they do it just out of curiosity. They have a problem that they want to fix. They just sit down, fix it, open source it, and maybe something will happen, maybe nothing will happen, maybe they will just leave it out. But a lot of times, that's where innovation happens. Because they're not doing it for the money. They're not trying to solve the problem and try to make money out of it, most of the time. Of course, that can still happen, and this is one of the challenges in open source right now, the funding, and how to find sponsors and how to organize your business model in such a way that you can sustain that, rather than build it for 1 week and then just throw it away somewhere there on the internet. And many times the solution can be technology, or maybe a research paper, right? You find a problem that you want to solve, you write a paper on how you can solve it, you try it out. And there are many ways this can happen. But of course, the intent is up to us, the people that create these things, the people that solve these issues. And now to talk a little bit about Space Generation Advisory Council in Bulgaria in particular. We are trying to build right now a sustained community, have regular meetups or meetings around Bulgaria probably. Sofia and Plovdiv might be the first locations. But it would be a good start even if we have a one meeting, and just to bring those young professionals and students on one spot to talk about something that they're excited about, and that's space. We want to also participate in global activities from the Space Generation Advisory Council, because there are communities in Italy, France, I'm not sure how many countries, I have to double check, but maybe around 100. Don't quote me on that, though. They also have national HGAC format events. This event is not one of them. I didn't know about that. I only joined in November. But in a nutshell, they can also provide support, financial support to such events, but they have to be in a specific format. And they organize very big events, even one or twice a year. This year was in Italy, HGX, I believe it was. And yeah, there are many opportunities to participate in the community. It's up to you, actually, not to me, not to the general HGAC community. It's up to you. It's all volunteers. There are only a few paid positions, and that's it. Everybody is a volunteer there, including me. I hope to make some collaborations. I started speaking with North Macedonia. They're quite interested because we want to share our passion and somehow, look away from all the negativity that has been shared in socials and in general the social pressure that different countries have. I already mentioned the Netherlands. We haven't organized anything particular with the HGAC the Netherlands, but since we are already collaborating with a few organizations in the Netherlands, it's just natural to figure out, maybe do the same workshop there in another format or in another form. And above all, this will take time. We have legacy, right? We have that legacy. We have developments in the past, and we should be proud of that. However, we should look forward into the future and develop something for the future generations in the space community in Bulgaria. And of course, that's also you, because you're here today now, and that showcases that, yeah, people are interested in that kind of domain. And there's quite a few interest in global aspect as well. So there's no better time than now. Again, here's the mailing list. If anybody wants to commit to the mailing list, I only sent one email so far to try and find volunteers for this conference. But if we grow this mailing list, I think the communication will be much easier and faster, and build this global community in Bulgaria as well. Thank you. That was it. And you can find the slides on this website or on this URL or by scanning the QR code.